Aside from the fact that the first reading from the book of the prophet Nehemiah is part of the Hebrew Scriptures, it's not difficult to tell that Ezra was not preaching to Catholics, because he read from the book of the law from early morning until midday. And as a Catholic priest, the thing we hear most frequently from people is, keep it short, Father, okay? So, yeah. Not only do we find that Ezra was reading from the book of the law, but as we proceed through this reading and we discuss, we hear the Levites were helping the people to understand the law, and so was Ezra, that the people there was a rejoicing in this. No, they proclaim that this is a day that is holy to the Lord. Do not grieve. Go out, eat the fat, drink sweet wine, celebrate. If we were to sit and listen to somebody reading to us from the book of the law for a long time, I don't think we'd consider that a celebration. It would just be pure boredom, and how quickly can we get out of here? But it shows the great respect and understanding ultimately that the Israelites had for the presence of God through law with them. They saw it in a different way than we perceive law. They saw it as God's relationship with them, as God's inviting them into life with the Lord, and this is how you must live in unity with your God. And so there's that element of, wow, we're in this relationship. How often do we look at anything legal as being restrictive? It means I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do what I want. And yet even if we follow the law of love as it's given to us by Jesus, it means the same thing. It means we can't do exactly what we want, but we have to unite ourselves with our God as the disciples were called, as we hear in the gospel from Luke today, to go out and to proclaim. And Jesus isn't promising them an easy ride. He says, I'm sending you out like lambs into the midst of wolves. Now just think about that in the very simple context of that. You're a lamb surrounded by a pack of wolves. Not really an exciting prospect. And to look at us ourselves in terms of our invitation to fulfill the law, the presence of God, through our proclamation of that teaching of the love of God, so often we're faced with the same kinds of challenges. We look around our world today, in so many ways we just shake our head and wonder what has gone wrong. And I think what we have to do is go back in our own lives. Not that we're going to be guilty of some of the atrocities that we're seeing, but we see where we have, where we failed to respond to that really generous call of God to accept the love of God and then to go out and to proclaim that love in all circumstances. To those people where it's easy to love, to those people where our loving them, our expressing God's love for them is bigger challenge. So in a sense, we're called, we're sent out like lambs into the midst of wolves in our lives. But the thing that we go back to is it's always with God's love, God's protection, God's care. Again, we gather daily to be nurtured by the Word of God, by the Eucharist. That ongoing strengthening of God for us in our lives. So we don't go out alone. We're not thrown to the wolves, but we go out with knowing that God accompanies us on our journey. God protects us. And because we are living the life to which we have been called by our God, we rejoice. We rejoice even in the challenges that are placed before us because we are responding to that great invitation. We're responding to God's great gift to the Spirit, and anything that does get accomplished through us is because of God working through us.